Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome back to our New York Islanders franchise mode here in NHL 25. So in last episode, if you did not catch it, we took on the Columbus Blue Jackets in the second round of the playoffs, and we have managed to beat them, which is great. We've obviously beat them a ton of times in the playoffs, so I guess we kind of brought that experience from playing them so many times in the postseason into that series, and it was quite an easy win. As you can see, 4-3 victory in Game 1, 6-2 victory in Game 2, then we lost 3-2, so at that point, still not really too sure what to make of it, but we do respond with a 6-4 victory, which that one would look like, honestly, we were going to lose that game, and it was going to be a best of 3 going forward, but we ended up winning that one, and then we ended up closing out the series 3-2. So in terms of goal scoring, a lot of close games, but we do manage to edge them out, and we have found ourselves in the conference finals against the team we expected to play, and that is the New York Rangers. Now, the Rangers started off this postseason without Guerin. He did miss, I think, 2 to 3 games, but he is back in their lineup, and they have made it to a conference finals, which is not great because obviously they're a very good offensive team. As we look at the little matchup comparison here, you can see they are first in goals for. We are third in the playoffs so far. They are ninth in goals against, so right now they haven't been a strong defensive team. Meanwhile, we have, so maybe we can find a way to stifle Guerin. And then in terms of special teams, they're actually better in both their special teams than us. They're first on the power play at 29.4%, which is like 9% better than our power play, even though our power play is top 3. And then you can see their penalty kill is a little bit better than ours as well at 87.2%, which is 9th, and we were 12th. So it's going to be an interesting matchup for sure. Obviously, I think it's going to be a tough task. I think the main thing we need to do is contain Guerin. If we don't contain Guerin, we need to contain the rest of the team, basically, on that New York Rangers roster, because if we shut down Guerin's teammates, we could basically win the series. If we shut down Guerin by himself, we could win the series. If we shut down everybody, we can. But if we start playing bad defensively and giving up a lot of goals, like the Rangers tend to score a lot, then that's going to be a bit of a problem for us. So hopefully we can find a way to beat them. We have beaten them in the playoffs before, but it definitely feels a little bit different this time around just because Guerin was hurt to start off the postseason. Because if we go to their stats from the playoffs so far, they have some very, very good depth scoring. We have good depth scoring too, but you can see for them, I feel like it's maybe a little bit better, but Guerin missed 2 games in the playoffs. He's over point per game, almost leading the team in points already, and this guy is an absolute stud. If you guys haven't watched really any of this series, you would not know it, but I guess if you watched every single episode, you know how good this guy actually is. He only has 1 career Stanley Cup, but if you go to his regular season numbers, he's just an absolute insane machine. Like, you look at his most goals in the season, he's hit over 70 goals 5 times in his career. He's obviously had over 100 points a shit ton of times in his career. Like, he's absolutely the best player in this franchise mode. Probably up there with Connor McDavid, if not better than Connor McDavid, which is insane. He is also 33 years old at this point, so he's not really declining too much, which is also kind of insane. So I'm really hoping we can find a way to beat him here, because maybe if we beat him here, the Rangers regress a bit, and maybe he never gets a chance to win a cup again, because I just hate running into this guy in the playoffs, because usually he could score a lot of goals on us. So I'm really hoping that we can play good defensively against a player like that. But anyways, before we get into this conference finals matchup, let's get in your guys' comments, see what you guys have to say about last episode, and then we'll see if we can win this Battle of New York and get ourselves back to the Stanley Cup Finals again. So the first and only comment is from Sarataku, who says, "Aw shit, here we go again." And yep, just like that meme, aw shit, here we go again, because I was basically looking at a little bit more in depth into our last 10 seasons or so, and this is officially the 9th time in 10 years we've made the conference finals. We've lost 5 times in the conference finals. We've lost 3 times in the cup finals in this 10 years. Once in round 1, and whatever happens here will get added to round 3 or the cup finals if we lose that. Or if we find a way to win the Stanley Cup, maybe we'll actually say, hey, we have a Stanley Cup in 10 years. But literally in the last 10 years, we've been an absolute dominant playoff team, but we have no cup to show for it. So I'm really hoping that this is the year. But honestly, with this team, you never really know what to expect when you get into a conference finals matchup. You could get completely outplayed. You could outplay the team, get to the cup finals, and look like you're the favorite to win the Stanley Cup, but still lose. So honestly, I have no idea what to expect, but I'm really hoping we could find a way to get it done this season. So with that said, I think we're ready to get into this matchup. I want to make sure we have our lines set up first and foremost. I could technically start Solovyov maybe for this conference finals, but the thing is, Nicholas started playing a little bit better against Columbus. He wasn't much better than he used to be, but we still had some good results with him. Solovyov has still been playing fantastically. So I think I'll probably still start Nicholas for game one like I did for the first two rounds, just because he's the higher end goaltender. But obviously, if he plays bad, we could go to Solovyov. Now, during the regular season, Nicholas was actually pretty bad against the Rangers, but Solovyov actually won his only games. So I'm leaning almost to playing Solovyov for game one, but I think I'll go to Nicholas and just kind of see how he is first and foremost. Since we don't have, do we have home ice advantage? Yeah, we do have a home ice advantage. I think I'll just give Nicholas a chance to start for game one. And then from the rest of the lineup standpoint, I think we'll keep the rest of this the same because I feel like our offensive game has definitely been getting better as this playoff has gone on. So I think it's probably good like this. But obviously, if we get into a little bit of a lull offensively, we could easily make some adjustments and move guys up and down throughout the lineup. So with that said, let's get to the first game of the series and see what we're able to do. See if we could find a way to get back to that Cup Finals again. Because if we get to this Cup Finals, maybe we have a chance to win this year. It would be against either Edmonton or Vegas. Now, Edmonton we have played in the Cup Finals before, and that was nearly 10 seasons ago. So that was back in 2035-36. We're in 2044-45. So it would be interesting to see if we play them again for the Cup or if we'd have to take on a team like Vegas. But obviously, we still have to go through Guerin first. And like I said, this is going to be probably the toughest playoff round we've had at this point in time. Like, I expect this series to maybe be like one of those series that go to 7 games. We've been to 5 games in the first 2 rounds each time, so I feel like this is definitely going to be the series that goes the longest based on both teams' records and stuff at this point in time. But let's get into this matchup and see if we could win the Battle of New York. So game number 1 with Nicholas in net. Will Nicholas impress or will he be a disappointment is the question. First period. 1-0 us. Good start. Scrivens opens the scoring 21 seconds in with the shots 15-9 in favor of the Rangers. So the Rangers generating a lot of chances, but so far we are playing good to our defensive strength. Meanwhile, the Rangers haven't found a way to score yet, but obviously they're a good offensive team. They'll probably find a way to score at least 1 goal in this game. Can we find a way to keep this lead intact in the second period? Maybe get some insurance just because the Rangers are a high-flying offensive team. Second period. 1-1, the Rangers tie it up. That's not ideal, but at least it's better than being trailing after 2. I like it at least in that sense. But Halishchuk makes it a 1-1 game. Shots are 27-16 in favor of the Rangers. So far, it's been a good showing from Nicholas. Probably one of his strongest games of this postseason. Hopefully he has a good third period, and hopefully our offense could find ways to generate more chances, because right now we are not scoring as much as we were against the Blue Jackets. Third period underway. Can we find a way to get that lead back? Come on, boys. Let's get her done. Yes, we can. Ragnarsson makes it a 2-1 game. Power play right afterwards. We do not score on it. But we do have that 2-1 lead, which is nice. Power play again for us. We do not score. Couple wasted power play opportunities, and then the Rangers tied up, of course, Schrader. But we answer right back, and it's Lindsay, of all people. Was not expecting that because he's a DFD, and Scrivens, the acquisition in the offseason last year, made it 4-2, and that one ends up being the game winner because Parse scored with 7 seconds left. What a crazy third period, but we do manage to find a way to win game 1 4-3. I feel like we've won game 1 4-3 in every single series except for Carolina. It was a 4-3 loss. That's a bit strange. Like 4-3 loss in game 1 against Carolina, 4-3 win, I think, against Columbus in game 1, and then the same thing with the Rangers here. So we do find our offensive game. We didn't play the strongest defensively, but 34 saves for Nicholas is definitely one of his strongest showings, I think, in this playoff run. So big win there. Scrivens gets credited with the game-winning goal. He actually had 2 goals in this game. The first one from Lehman. Then we had Ragnarsson from Crane. Lindsay's first to the playoffs from Kazanov and Trotter. And then Scrivens from Lindsay and Lehman. So, yeah, Lindsay and Scrivens picking up points is not who I had on mind to score and pick up points. I mean, Scrivens maybe, but Lindsay is definitely not an offensive guy, but he was a +4 in that game. Him and Savage, the top 6 pairing, did really, really well in that game defensively, and we're out there for a lot of goals for, which is also good. So shout out to them. And a 919 save percentage from Nicholas. So maybe Nicholas is going to get better as these playoffs are going to go on, because like I said, he wasn't super good in his only game against Carolina. Second round, he was a little bit better. We did play him a little bit more often than we did against Carolina for sure, and he ended up playing okay, but Solovyov still has been the best goalie out of the two, so there is still a chance Solovyov might get in this conference finals at some point. So Scriven's first star, Lindsay second star, and Lehman the third star. Love to see the depth showing up. That's mostly, I guess, the second line technically, but nice little win there. We are 9-2 in the playoffs. That's only the fourth loss the Rangers have had this postseason. And I don't know if Guerin had any points in that first game, but we'll definitely take a look at the end of this round and see how much points he picked up against, just because, like I said, he's pretty much a difference maker. Like, he'll either win the Rangers the series or he'll lose them the series. Like, if he doesn't do well offensively, the Rangers are going to be in a bit of a tough time. So not too bad of a first game. Let's keep the team the same for game 2, which means Nicholas will get back-to-back starts. I could obviously go to Solovyov, but if Nicholas played solid in game 1, we might as well keep it the same. All right, let's head back to game 2. We're still on home ice. Can we take a 2-0 series lead headed to Madison Square Garden afterwards? First period. 1-1. Okay, a little bit more of an offensive first period. Guerin opens the scoring. Of course, I just mentioned Guerin, and he scores a goal. So he didn't score any goals last game, but he does pick one up here in this game. He might have had some assist in game 1. I didn't even see if he did or not. But Winchester answers back, so their first liner and our fourth liner. I like it that our fourth line's been showing up for some goals occasionally. Definitely shows that at least we could rely on any line to pick up some offense. Shots are 16-8 in favor of the Rangers after 1. So a strong period again for Nicholas. Faced a ton of shots, only gave up 1 goal. I'd like to see our defensive play be a little bit better, where we don't give them as much chances on goal, because they are a high-flying offensive team. And I'd like to see a little bit more chances on our own side of things if we can. Can we find a way to get that lead? Second period. 2-1 us. Nicely done, boys. Trotter opens the scoring for the second period. Makes it a 2-1 game for us going into the third with the shots 25-19 in favor of New York. So far, pretty similar game to last game, where it's basically a 1-goal game for most of it. Can we find a way to hold them off the rest of this way and maybe take both of our first home games of this round? Third period underway. Come on, boys. Let's get an insurance marker. That would help out a lot at this point. I like my insurance. Can we get insurance? Yes, we can. Carlton scores to make it 3-1. Nicely done, Carlton. That's a big goal at this point. And there's a huge penalty kill as well in the third period. We have got a good chance here potentially at closing them out here for game 2. And it looks like we are going to be... Wait, let's not say it yet. Anderson makes it a 1-goal game. And that's the final. So another 1-goal performance, but we have taken a 2-0 series lead headed to the opposing team's arena. Final shots 38-32 in favor of the Rangers at the end of it. So they outplayed us again, but right now Nicholas has been actually pretty damn good to start off this conference finals. And I really like the way we played in this game as well. So Winchester from Terry, Trotter from Dempsey and Kazanov, and we had Carlton from Winchester and Houghton. So yeah, Guerin picks up 2 points against us in that game, but his team still doesn't win. So maybe we're going to get lucky this year, unless we lose both games on the Rangers' home ice, which hopefully isn't the case. But Winchester barely plays any minutes, and this guy picks up points, which is awesome. 6 minutes, and he had 2 points. So very effective player. Terry also only plays like 6 minutes, and he picked up an assist. So that fourth line has been contributing pretty nicely. And then, yeah, Nicholas, that's definitely his best playoff game. 36 of 38, a .947 save percentage. 3 stars of the game, Nicholas, Winchester, and Guerin. So I would like to go to Solovyov at some point, but if Nicholas is going to continue to play like this, obviously we just run with the hot goaltender. So I like it that both goalies have been playing pretty good for the most part this playoffs now. Because, like I said, Nicholas got off to a slow start, but he's definitely been getting better as this playoffs has gone on. Obviously, last year he was really good in the postseason as well, but in the finals he fell apart. So maybe there's a chance Solovyov is in net for the playoffs in the finals. But right now it seems like the conference finals goalie is going to be Nicholas. Alright, so we have a 2-0 series lead, even though both games were only won by a goal. We are going to keep the team the exact same. We're going to do what's been working. Obviously, if we lose this game badly or something, maybe we make some adjustments, but I really like the way the team's been playing. I just would like to maybe limit the Rangers' chances a little bit more. I know they're a good offensive team, but obviously them out shooting us in a lot of these games isn't necessarily a good recipe to win games, but we've won games, so we want Nicholas to play good, which means maybe facing a lot of shots, but I obviously want our defense to kind of limit the opportunities a little bit more if possible, just because once their offense gets going, we might not be able to stop it. So let's see what happens. Game 3, we head to Madison Square Garden. Can we find a way to win some road games as well in this conference finals? First period. 1-0 us. We are really starting off games pretty strong. We are out shooting Nips. Goddamn, I can barely talk. We're out shooting them this time 17-9. So that's a very good period and good at limiting them chances. We actually got a shit ton of chances in that first. We only get 1 goal, which is a bit scary. But 1 goal is better than none. Layman opens the scoring. All right. So far, good defensively. We are generating chances offensively. Goaltending's been fine, but obviously it is still scary that we're only up by a goal. I would have liked maybe 1 more goal just to play it safe, but let's have a strong second period here and not let them get back into this game. Second period. 3-2 us. It's not necessarily the best second period, but we do still have a 1-goal advantage, so I'm not going to complain about that. Johansson tied the game up at 1. Winchester gives us back the lead. Winchester's been really effective. I really like how he's been playing. Maybe he's a guy that we need to eventually get into the top 9 at some point. Guerin then basically tied the game up with 55 seconds left, but Mäkinen, finally our top line comes through with 19 seconds left. So 2 goals in the final minute, but we do have the lead going into the third with the shots 26-18. So like I said, not necessarily the best second period. Nicholas having kind of a bad game by comparison, obviously, to the last 2 games, but we are still winning. Can we find a way to hold on to this lead? Maybe get a couple insurance markers, because we know if Guerin gets going, he could easily get his team a win in a third period. So let's see if we could find a way to hold them off and maybe take a 3-0 series lead here. Third period underway. Come on, boys. Give me that insurance marker. I don't care who it is on our team, somebody on our team. Penalty kill, nicely done, penalty killers. Love to see it. Love to see when our penalty kill works, and Ashton makes it 4-2 on the power play for us. That's a huge goal at this point. Terry makes it 5-2. The fourth line, again, has scored another goal. And your New York Islanders, maybe not, at least makes it 5-3. Your New York Islanders are going to take a 3-0 series lead on the New York Rangers. I thought this series was going to be a lot more tight. And so far, it has not been. I mean, it has been tight, I guess, technically, in terms of goal scoring. Like, we won the first 2 games by 1 goal. This one, we won by 2 goals. But that's another very nice victory for this team. And just like that, we are 1 win away from sweeping Guerin. Obviously, it's going to take a lot of work to sweep him, but this has been a really good conference finals for us. Maybe one of the best conference finals we've had in quite some time. So Layman from Scrivens and Carlton, Winchester from Terry and Russell, Mäkinen from Kazanov and Carlton, Ashton from Dempsey and Scrivens, Terry from Houghton and Russell, and that is it. Wow. All right. I really like how that fourth line's been playing. I really like that fourth line. Like Terry, literally 6 minutes and 36 seconds, 2 points. Russell, 8:18, 2 points. And then Winchester, 1 goal in 7 minutes. Like, that fourth line has been probably our best line in this conference finals, and they barely play any minutes. So, I really like how effective our team has been at getting goals from multiple lines. So, that is really impressive so far. And then goaltending-wise, yeah, it wasn't a great game from Nicholas, but the team bailed him out. So, we'll probably keep him in net, just because he's been still winning games. But obviously, if we get into a state where he's playing badly for multiple games in a row, like I said, we could go to Sloviov potentially. 3 stars of Game 3, Terry, the first star. Something I don't think I would have ever saw is Terry as the first star, because I'm pretty sure he's a grinder too, which is pretty impressive. Johansson, the second star, and then Scrivens, the third star. So with that, we're 1 win away from the Cup Finals, which is not what I was expecting so easily. It's been a very dominant playoff run up to this point. Vegas is also up 3-0 on the Oilers, so there is a chance it might be us playing off against Davidson in the Vegas Golden Knights. I think Davidson's a franchise player as well, but that might be what ends up happening. There still could be a chance for a reverse sweep in the conference finals. I'm really hoping it's not against us because we are 11-2 this playoff run so far. We've been absolutely cruising. Like, our only losses came in Game 1 against Carolina in first round, and in the second round, it was in Game 3 against the Blue Jackets. So I think we got to keep the team the exact same for this game since it's been working still. Obviously, if we lose this game or lose 2 games in a row, maybe we should start thinking about some adjustments. But right now, this team has been very, very good. And like I said, I've really liked our fourth line. So maybe the fourth line will come through here as well in this game. This might end up being a very short episode if we end up finding a way to sweep them. I was not expecting us to do this easily against them. I do expect the Rangers to take 1 game, but if they don't, that would be still pretty damn surprising. Like, the Rangers have a really good offensive team, but so far against us, I mean, I guess they're averaging an okay amount of goals, 3, 2, and 3. But we've scored 4, 3, and 5. Like, definitely their defensive strength isn't as good as ours, so let's get to Game 4 and see if we could get ourselves back to that Stanley Cup Finals again. I was not expecting to be in this predicament so easily, but here we are. First period, Game 4. 1-0 Rangers. Okay, that's not ideal, especially being outshot 12-4. So a solid start for Nicholas. I'd say our defensive core played okay, but not getting more than 4 shots on goal is kind of concerning. Definitely need our offense to step up more so in the second period because if they start playing strong defensively, we know that we might need to make some offensive adjustments. But Schrader opens the scoring for them. Like I said, shots are 12-4. Can we find a way to get some more chances in the second period and maybe tie this game up? Second period. 3-1 Rangers. Ugh, that's not great. Nikitin and Kagarodov made it 3-0. Dempsey pulls us within 2. But so far, this is definitely our worst game in quite some time. They are doubling us in shots, 28-14. We're down by a pair of goals. We are still in this game, but definitely our offense has all of a sudden decided to take a little bit of a backseat. Like I said, I expect the Rangers to take at least 1 game, so this makes a lot of sense. But I would like to see our team try and push here in the third period to get this game tied. So let's see what happens. Third period underway. Can we force a comeback? Power play for us. We do get a power play goal from Holmstrom to make a 1-goal game and another power play goal from Kazanov. Okay, we do tie it up immediately to start the third. I was not expecting that. 2 quick power play goals. Love to see it, but the Rangers are back. It's Anderson. They get restore that 1-goal advantage, and they get another one. Are you kidding me? Nicholas was playing so good all game, and then we come back literally in the game, and then they get 2 more goals right afterwards. Damn, man. That's a tough one because I thought that maybe was a game that we could have came back and won after those 2 quick power play goals, but they get 3 goals in the final 9 minutes. We lose 6-3, which is not ideal. Final shots 38-25. Definitely needed to throw more rubber on net and to limit more chances, but that's a tough one, man. Almost looked like we could have came back from a 3-0 deficit. So Dempsey from Lehman and Schaefer. Then we had Holmstrom from Makinen and Houghton. Kazanov from Lehman and Dempsey. But then they get those 3 goals. I'm not too sure if I should make adjustments after a game like that or not. Ooh, there's some bad plus minuses on the team. Houghton and Kazanov and a lot of other guys were really bad in plus minus. And then, yeah, oof. Nicholas has posted 2 bad games in a row and 865 this time around. I don't know if I would fully blame him in that game. But I do think we're going to put Solovyov in net for the next game. I just don't want to get Nicholas into that losing habit where he plays a bad game and then it kind of carries over to the next game. I want him to have a time to kind of refresh his mind and be like, hey, I'm ready to go. So Vegas did sweep the Oilers, which means whoever wins this conference finals will face off against the Golden Knights for the Stanley Cup. I'd like to get our offense better too, so maybe I make some adjustments here. Ragnarsson's been kind of quiet in this conference finals, hasn't he? I feel like he has. He had 1 goal in game 1, but aside from that, he has no points. So we are going to move Ragnarsson back to the second line. We are actually going to put him on a line with Lehman and Ashton. Scrivens will go back to the top line. And like I said, I've really liked our fourth line, so I'd like to keep that the same. Defensively, I don't think there's really much adjustments I could do other than maybe moving Houghton down to the second pairing just because he could be a bit of a defensive liability, so let's try that out. And in goaltending, like I said, we'll try Solovyov back in net. Because Solovyov has been fantastic for all the playoffs so far. Hasn't had any bad games, really. So let's get to this game and see if Solovyov could get us the series win. And if he gets us the series win, then obviously we could start Nicholas for game 1, maybe in the Cup Finals again. But on a short leash, basically. All right, let's get to game number 5. This is a pretty big game because obviously if we lose this game, I feel kind of worried that we could end up getting reverse swept, and I'm really hoping that's not the case because if I get reverse swept in the conference finals, that might be the worst conference finals slap to a face of all time. So let's see if we can close them out. We're back on home ice. We've been a very good home team so far this playoff run. Can we knock out the Rangers and Guerin and get ourselves to the Cup Finals against the Golden Knights? First period. Scoreless. I'll take a defensive first period, but I do not like that we're out shooting them 17-8 and we have no goals to show for it. Kind of makes me feel like our offense is starting to dry up a lot more than it was in the first 3 games. So I am a little scared right now, but at least it's a tie game after the first period. It's not like we're down by a couple goals. Can we find a way to get that lead in the second period, and can Solovyov continue to shut the door? Second period. 1-0 us. Good second period. We're out shooting him 34-19. We have finally taken the lead, at least, as a Holmstrom goal. So Holmstrom's starting to score some goals, which is great. But so far, so good with the defensive play. Offensive play, we've been generating chances, but right now Tulola is giving the Rangers a chance, which is a bit scary. Can we find a way to close this game out in the third period, get an insurance marker? Because it is still a very, very close game, just like it was in the early stages of the series. Third period underway. Come on, boys. Let's get an insurance marker. Don't care who it is on a roster. It could be Terry. It could be anybody. Let's just get an insurance. Oh, my goodness. Nokalainen makes it 1-1. That's not good. Oh, no. And Guerin gives them the lead. Like I said, Guerin's kind of a difference maker. They take the 2-1 lead. I'm not putting this fully on Solovyov, but our team has generated so many chances. And we tied a game up late, though. Scrivens with a minute 59 has forced overtime. I was not expecting that. Shots are 44-25. It is a 2-2 game. Obviously, since this is the conference finals, we're going to jump on into this game and watch and see if we could eliminate the Rangers. But man, this is this is a little nerve-wracking here, because if we lose this game, we go back to New York, where the Rangers might have a chance to tie the series. So we got to find a way to win this one and close them out and get ourselves to that finals here. Let's go game settings. Just make sure I have the music turned off again as per usual, which I think I do. Yep, because I don't really do anything else other than play franchise mode when I make my videos. So let's go start game. And let's see if we could get an OT hero here to send us to the Cup Finals to face off against Vegas. And we got to watch out for Guerin. I don't know if this is one of the first times we've played against the Rangers or watched against the Rangers in a playoff scenario, but got to watch out for Guerin. I don't even know what Guerin's face looks like, to be honest, but here's Scrivens. Drops it to Holmstrom. Holmstrom finds Crane. Crane shoots. He scores right away. Crane, the captain, has sent the Islanders back to the Cup Finals just like that. I was not expecting us to end so quickly. Sometimes it ends really quickly. Other times it takes a while. But the captain of the team sends us back to the Cup Finals again. We do have another chance to go for the Stanley Cup, but we're going to be taken out of Vegas. But that's an absolutely huge win. What a performance. Which means we're going to our 4th Cup Finals in the last 10 years. Still looking for the first one. And we have actually won another conference finals matchup. Oh my goodness. And there is Crane getting that Prince of Wales trophy, as he typically does as of late. Is it going to mean a Stanley Cup for this team this year? Tough to say, but what a big game-winning goal from the captain. I wouldn't have taken anybody else to score that goal. Nice little screen in front there by Makinen too. And that sends us to the Stanley Cup Finals. Let's take a look at this goal again here. Very quickly done. Face-off was won by Makinen nicely. And then you get Holmstrom with this puck. He throws this over nicely. A little bit of a broken play there, but Scrivens skates onto it. Gets away from Anderson nicely. He then drops it to Holmstrom. And Holmstrom can shoot there, but he goes for the pass. Crane gets it in the slot. Nice drive by Makinen in front. You can see the screen, the goalie briefly right there. and Crane picks his spot through the bodies and scores that overtime winner. We got to get a screenshot of that. Like, that's definitely maybe one of the highlights of this franchise mode if we end up winning a friggin' Stanley Cup this year. But there it is. Friggin' Crane sends us to the Stanley Cup Finals. You'd love to see it. Rangers fans would be absolutely pissed probably, but there it is. Another 5-game series. This team's been so effective. And now we just need to find a way to win a Stanley Cup against Vegas, which is going to be tough, but should be fun. And I don't know why the three stars of the game thing is glitched. Let me go with instant replay again, go back and see if it refreshes itself. It did not. We don't know what the three stars of the game in this game are because it's glitched out for some reason. But I would assume Scrivens is going to get first star with those 3 points. Holmstrom probably second star with 2 points. Crane probably third star with the game-winning goal. Maybe Solovyov gets a star. He was actually really good in that game again. Tough to say. I actually do I ever have a screenshot of Solovyov? I don't feel like I do. Let's go get a screenshot of Solovyov in case I don't have one. Because Solovyov has been through a lot of trouble here, but he has been really good this year. So let me just get a screenshot of him. I feel like I need to get screenshots of a lot of these guys, but a couple of these guys are obviously going to be Channel Hall of Famers likely. So I don't know why the 3 stars are glitched out, but we kind of have a guess at least on who the stars would be at least. So we are headed to the friggin' Stanley Cup Finals. Vegas for the first time. Should be an interesting matchup. I don't know how Vegas has been this playoffs, but they swept the conference finals, which is kind of scary. But I think both of us have been good teams. Like, we've literally only lost 1 game in each of the first 3 rounds. We are 12-3. Hopefully that doesn't mean we get swept in the Cup Finals. But let's take a look at some stats before we get into taking a look at Vegas and all that. But in terms of player stats for us so far in this playoff run, it's been a good run. A lot of good depth scoring, as I mentioned. Lehman on 15 points. He's point per game. We have Dempsey on 14 points, which is still surprising. Scrivens on 14. Makinen on 13. And then Ragnarsson Ashton on 10 points. Crane's been a little bit quiet, to be honest, but he's been good. Like I said, basically everybody on this team is contributing. The fourth line's been really good. Like Winchester has got 6 points in 15 games, but he's averaging .758 a game of ice time. So shout out to that fourth line. And then from a defensive standpoint, Houghton is point per game. We have Holmstrom who on 10 points, Schaefer's on 6, Carlton and Lindsay are on 4, and then Strombo played 3 games with a goal, and Savage has an assist in 15 games, but he's +8. And then from a goaltending perspective, Solovyov on a .948, 7-0. He has not lost so far. I still think I'm going to start Nicholas for Game 1 of the Cup Finals controversially. But obviously after that, we could go to Solovyov. But damn, man. Solovyov coming back has been just amazing for this team. Reuniting the old guys, basically. Love to see it. All right. So we know we're going to be taking on to Vegas. Actually did want to take a look at Guerin's stats against us too first, but what does our coach got to say? It's about getting to the Cup Finals, probably, right? Yep. Perfect. Nice little influence XP. Love to see it. But let's take a look here at Guerin's stats against us. I feel like he didn't really do that much, which is surprising. Like maybe that injury was still nagging him a little bit. Actually, maybe he did do good against us. Let's take a look here. So in that 5-game series, he was at point in every single game. He had 3 goals and 3 assists in 5 games, but his team just did not do enough around him. So basically that's what I was expecting or hoping we'd do. We'd either contain Guerin or we'd contain the rest of the team, and I'd say for the most part we contained most of that team. So nice little win over there against the Rangers. All right, let's take a look at how Vegas did during the regular season and how they're doing playoff-wise so far. Maybe also their route to this Cup Finals, but it'll be interesting to see what they look like. So, Vegas won the President's Trophy. I did not know that. I did not know that. At least I did not remember. 55, 22, and 5, 115 points. That means either they're going to be the team that wins the President's Trophy in a cup in the same season, or they're going to lose in the Cup Finals after a historic season. Damn, man. That's kind of scary. They scored 3.83 goals for per game during the regular season. We scored 3.6. We both were very good defensive teams. They allowed only 3 less goals than us this season, so they're a strong defensive team. Power play percentage, they were 20.4 to our 18.9, so pretty close. And penalty kill percentage, they were only 2% better. So, and we both had 12 short-handed goals this year, which is tied for the most in the league. So we might be very even on paper, even though they won the President's Trophy. So far during the playoffs, by comparison, let's take a look at this because usually the playoffs are a lot different. So far they are 12-4. We are 12-3. We have scored one more goal than they have in one less game. We're both very similar teams defensively. Power play percentage, their power play has been atrocious in this playoffs, but they got to the Cup Finals. I don't know how their offense scores over 3 goals a game if their power play is literally 6.4%. Our power play is 24.3%, so literally almost 18% better, I think, if I'm doing the math right, which I'm probably not. No, I think actually I am doing it better. 18.1% is almost better, which is insane. I don't even know how. I honestly don't know how. How do you have a power play that bad? Anyways, penalty kill. Their penalty kill has been fantastic, though, and it's been better than ours. 2 short angles for them. They're 9-0 on home ice. We are 8-1 on home ice. God damn. And then both teams have struggled a little bit more on the road. We're 4-2 on the road. They're 3-4. They're 9-1 in their last 10 games. We're 8-2. This could end up being a Stanley Cup Finals for the ages because a lot of these stats are pretty close. I'd say the one thing that separates us is our power play, though. Our power play is way better than theirs is. So I don't know what the roster looks like because we've never played them in the playoffs, but I'm excited to take a look. I know they have Davidson, I think, and I'm pretty sure that might be the main threat on that team. So what is Vegas looking like in 2045? Do they have Mitch Marner? I'm joking. Oh, yeah, okay, now I do recognize a couple of these guys. So, yeah, Davidson's the one I was mentioning about. First overall pick back 15 years ago. This guy's a machine. Got to watch out for Torsten Davidson. They also have Kelly Bonvie, and then there's Trent Oshie. I do remember Trent Oshie as well. Bonvie I don't recognize, really. Second line, Gustavo Noonan. They also have Nicolet Tovari, Ruslan Alexandrov, who's only 21. Only a medium 9. Interesting. Third line, Philippe Lacroix, Robert Leonard, Dante Conroy, and a fourth line of Dominic Ziuk. I'm pretty sure the D would be silent, so it's probably like Ziuk or something, but tough to say. They also have Torsten Samuelson and Tuukka Korhonen. Interesting. Yeah, that's a pretty good forward group, especially like the left wing side is very deep. Down the middle, maybe a tad weak. Like Letuvari's probably more a third line center. Right wing side's pretty weak after Oshie, so they do have a lot of strength, especially in that top 6. And on that left side, it's definitely good. Defensively, this is probably where they're good. And I see a former Islander on the top pairing. There's Victor Punos, but look who it is. A guy I haven't seen in quite some time, Joseph Boyd. Joseph Boyd. Let's see how he's been. Because he's been at Vegas, I guess, for a while. Yeah, he's been with Vegas since we moved him away. Or let him go to free agency. So he's been a Vegas Golden Knight since literally probably one of the first times we got back to the conference finals again after that cup loss. Because he was here. He was on our team when we lost the cup finals against the Oilers. That was a first round exit year. Then we lost in the conference finals there. And then he had to go to free agency. And he's been in Vegas ever since then. He's been very good defensively still. And he's had a lot of playoff experience. I don't know if the Golden Knights have ever won the cup. Doesn't look like it. Anyway, second pairing, Braxton Crowder and Thomas Ersberg, who is also the guy that was literally on the cup-winning team that beat us last year in the Calgary Flames. That's a bit nasty to see. So, yeah, Ersberg could come back to bite us again. That's actually crazy that we have to face him for a second straight Cup Finals with a different team. Shout out to Ersberg. And then the top 6 pairing, Vyacheslav Plekhanov and Alexei Zharkov. This is a pretty old team when you look at their ages on a lot of these guys, like 32 and 36, but yikes. Don't like going up against Ersberg. I'm excited to go up against Boyd again just because we haven't seen him in a while, but Ersberg beat us last year, so I'm a bit nervous about that. But if you're looking at their defensive core, it's very strong on the left side. Right side's a bit weak after Boyd, but it's a good enough defensive core. Goaltending-wise, they do have 2 good goalies. Mark Legwand, which I think he's won a Vezina. Yeah, he's won 2 Vezinas and 2 Jennings. I remember seeing him up there. And then they also have Javon Rizzi, who I don't think I've ever seen before. Scratches, they have Terrell Phillips and Curtis Fitzgerald. All right. So, yeah, that's a very strong team in a lot of ways. Like, they have a very good top line. Noonan's a very good second liner. Defensively, their left side is fantastic. Their right side's good with Boyd, at least. And their goaltending strong. Like, they don't really have too much of a weakness. Like, I can kind of see why they've done so good this playoff run so far. But let's take a look at their playoff run. Obviously, they won the President's Trophy. So they've knocked out some easier teams, but round 1, they went to 7 games with the LA Kings, but since then they've only lost 1 game. They knocked out the defending Cup champion Calgary Flames in 5 games in round 2, and then they swept the Oilers in the conference finals. So they haven't had a tough matchup since that first round against LA, which is interesting. LA has also been a strong team in franchise mode, though, I'm pretty sure, so that's kind of interesting they went out so early. Damn. Let me take a brief look at the AHL playoffs as well. Why is it glitched out, man? Why is there so many glitches? We're not obviously playing for the Calder Cup playoffs, but for some reason it glitches out. Like, why isn't it defaulting to the AHL teams that are actually in the finals? That's so weird. Oh, well. Let's take a look at some player stats on Vegas to see a better who's been scoring goals for them that we might not expect. Because we obviously expect the big guys, but there could be some other dudes that score goals for them as well. All right, so in terms of their player stats from during the season, they have 100 points from Davidson. Like I said, Davidson's fantastic. We've seen him up there in points. Noonan had 89 points as a second-line guy with power play time. Yeah, it's pretty much mostly their top 6, but you got guys like Letovari, who's only an 83, but 69 points this season. So they have pretty damn good depth scoring on that offensive core. Defensively, 90 points from Punovs. Oh, yeah, that's right. Punovs is a Norris Trophy winning defenseman, correct? No, he won the Calder, but this year he's probably winning Norris. So we got to watch out. They get offense from the back end a lot. Punovs, Crowder is okay. Erzberg's obviously good offensively too. Boyd's purely defensive. He only played 41 games this regular season, so he missed a lot of time due to injury, but came back for the playoffs, which is interesting. So Fitzgerald played a lot more than he probably should have. Goaltending-wise, Legwand had a .916 save percentage this year, so maybe he's a Vezina finalist again this season. God damn. All right. So, yeah, they definitely have a lot of strengths in different areas. Defense, goaltending, and, of course, the offensive core, too. Let's take a look at some playoff numbers as well. See if there's any big threats this playoff run for them. Davidson's under point per game. So, yeah, they're not scoring as much as you'd expect from their high-end scorers, but they have good depth scoring just like us. And that's the scary thing. Yeah, they have a lot of guys that can pick up points. That Ziuk guy has 10 points in 16 games. That's a 79. So we got to watch out. We got to watch out. From a defensive standpoint, Punovs has 13 points in 15 games. So it's basically going to be the young OFD versus our old OFD in Houghton. And also, I guess, technically Holmstrom would be up against Erzberg. There's Boyd up there as well. God damn, man. I wonder if Boyd was put on LTIR so they could acquire somebody. I had to say it just because Boyd's got a $7.6 million cap hit. He's a pending free agent, but he did miss a lot of the season. Goaltending, Legwand's got a .926. That's kind of scary. Yeah, I feel like this is going to be a tough Cup Finals, but if we could find a way to get it done, that'd be absolutely fantastic. Just no rest time in between series hardly, too, so... Game 1 already starts on the 29th after we just beat the Rangers a couple days prior. Damn. All right. Well, anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of our New York Islanders franchise mode. So in next episode, we'll take it to the Stanley Cup Finals against the Vegas Golden Knights as we look to not lose to Erzberg in the Stanley Cup Finals for the second consecutive season. Also, maybe beat Joseph Boyd. It would be nice to see Boyd with the Stanley Cup, but of course, we don't care about that. We want the Cup ourselves. Maybe we could bring Boyd back in free agency if we really want to in the offseason, if he is a free agent or something like that. But let me see that below, and I'll see you guys next time.